the cherry orchard. That's the plan, at least. I've watched the Trevor Griffiths version with Judi Dench, and I was really impressed. But anyway, you're more interested in how to ace the exam. But hopefully, what I can do is, as I go through it, reading all the different characters, I'll be able to give you some tips along the way. So I'm looking at the Gutenberg version, which isn't exactly the same as the one I previously mentioned. Characters, we don't see her straight away. She's a landowner, Lyubov. She's known as Lyubov, also Madame Ranevsky or Ranevskaya, some people know her as. She's got a daughter called Anya, who's 17. She appears not at the very start, but pretty early on. Varia is also known as Barbara. She is Madame Ranevsky's adopted daughter. She's 27, apparently, according to this. Leonid Andreevich Gaev is Madame Ranevsky's brother. Yermolai Alexievich Lopakhin, I know him as more Lopakhin, is a merchant. His background is he was a former serf, apparently, but when you go through it, it seems that his father had a shop, so that doesn't really make him a serf as such. Then we got Peter Sergeyevich Trofimov, a student who was tutor to Madame Ranevsky's son, who died, before the play started. So she was clearly upset about that. Then we got Boris Borisovich Simeonov Piskin, or Pischik. I often call him Pischik. He's a landowner, always borrowing money from Madame Ranevsky if he can, but she doesn't have much money either. Then we got Charlotta Ivanovna. She's the governess of Anya. She doesn't act governess. I suppose that's part of the reason why Chekhov thought this was a comedy. Obviously, not everybody agrees with that because it's pretty tragic in places. Then we got also known as Simeon Pateleyevich Epikodov, and he's a kind of clerk or clerical assistant. Dunyasha is a maidservant. I'm not going to try to read her other name because it looks pretty complicated, but mostly she's known as Dunyasha. She's got delusions of grandeur. We're going to see her at the very start with Lopakhin. And then we've got Fiers, who is an old footman, aged 87, apparently. Yasha's a young footman, totally different to Fiers. In the version I watched, this was a poetic interpretation, if you will. He seemed to be, how can I put it in a nice way? He seemed to be Madame Ranevsky's toy boy, but it doesn't say that in the text, but he seems to want to go with her everywhere, and he gets to drink champagne if he's with her. So you can see what the attraction is. Then the other characters are minor characters: a tramp, station master, post office clerk. I don't remember that character appearing. There are guests near the end, and there's also another unnamed servant. Anyway, I'll do it as long as I can. So the action takes place on Madame Ranevsky's estate. The other stage directions for Act 1, if I remember right, this is a 4-act play. A room which is still called the nursery. One of the doors leads into Anya's room. It's close on sunrise. It's May. The cherry trees are in flower, but it's chilly in the garden. There's an early frost. The windows of the room are shut. Dunyasha comes in with a candle and Lopakhin with a book in his hand. There's a lot of symbolism at the very start. So first of all, we've got the nursery, which obviously you link with children. And a lot of the characters in this, particularly the aristocrats, they haven't seemingly grown up. So it does seem a very appropriate place for them to meet. And sunrise, obviously, start of a new day. Things are changing. It's May, so it's still spring. And spring, a time of change, a new birth, let's say. Cherry trees, obviously, they are all known for their blossom, but it's ephemeral. The beautiful blossom doesn't last that long. So you get a sense of that very early on in the cherry orchard. And it's cold in the garden, so there's reality sinking in. There's an early frost. And yet there is light because Dunyasha's coming in with a candle. Lopakhin is holding a book. He's half asleep, the way it's played out in the version I watched, at least. And this really tells us that he's trying to educate himself, but his background is very much a lowly background. So he's got a long way to go to get up to speed to be like an aristocrat, which is what really he wants to be. Okay, so let's move on with the play. So the first line is Lopakhin. So trains arrived, thank God. What's the team? So this was played by Bill Patterson, and he played it with a Scottish accent. But so actually, what I really liked about Richard Eyre's version of Trevor Griffith's translation, what I really liked is that if one of the characters had a sort of working class background, he had him speaking in a Scottish accent, which I thought was a clever move. Anyway, continuing, Dunyasha speaks to Lopakhin. It will soon be 2. She blows out the candle. It's light already. How much was the train late? 2 hours at least. He yawns and stretches himself. I've made a rotten mess of it. I came here on purpose to meet him at the station, and I overslept myself. In my chair. It's a pity. Wish you'd wakened me. Dunyasha. I thought you'd gone away. Listening. I think I hear them coming. Lopakhin listens. No. They've got to collect their luggage and so on. He pauses. Lyubov Andreevna has been living abroad for 5 years. I don't know what should be late now. She's a good sort, an easy, simple person. I remember when I was a boy at 15, my father, who's dead, he used to keep a shop in the village here. He hit me in the face with his fist and my nose bled. We'd gone into the yard together for something or other, and he was a little drunk. Lyubov Andreevna, as I remember her now, she was young, very thin, and she took me to the washstand here in this very room, the nursery. She said, don't cry, little man, it'll be all right in time for your wedding. Little man. My father was a peasant, it's true. And here I am in a white waistcoat and yellow shoes. A pearl out of an oyster. I'm rich now, with lots of money. But just think about it, and examine me, and you'll find I'm still a peasant down to the marrow of my bones. He turns the pages of his book. Here I've been reading this book, and understood nothing. I read and fell asleep. He pauses. Dunyasha. The dogs didn't sleep all night. They know that they're coming. What's up with you, Dunyasha? My hands are shaking. I shall faint. You're too sensitive, Dunyasha. You're dressed just like a lady. And you do your hair like one too. You oughtn't. You should know your place. Yepi Kodov. He's quite a comic character. He enters with a bouquet of flowers. He wears a short jacket and brilliantly polished boots, which squeak audibly. He drops the bouquet as he enters and then picks it up. The gardener sent these. Says they're to go into the dining room. He gives the bouquet to Dunyasha. And you'll bring me some kvass. Kvass is, by the way, is like a, what is it? It's not particularly low-class drink, I don't think, but it's like low alcohol anyway. Dunyasha. Very well. And she exits. Yepi Kodov continues. There's a frost this morning, 3 degrees. The cherry trees are all in flower. I can't approve of our climate. I can't. Our climate is indisposed to favor us even this once, and Yermolai Alexeyevich, allow me to say this to you, in addition, that I bought myself some boots 2 days ago, and I beg to assure you that they squeak in a perfectly unbearable manner. What shall I put on them? Go away, you bore me. Some misfortune happens to me every day, but I don't complain. I'm used to it. I can smile. Dunyasha comes in and brings Lopakhin some kvass. I shall go. Knocks over a chair. There, triumphantly. There, if I may use the word. What circumstances I am in, so to speak. It is even simply marvellous. And he exits. Dunyasha. I may confess to you, Yermolai Alexeyevich, that Yepikodov has proposed to me. Ah. I don't know what to do about it. He's a nice young man, but every now and again, when he begins talking, you can't understand a word he's saying. I think I like him. He's madly in love with me. He's an unlucky man. Every day something happens. We tease him about it. They call him 22 troubles. Lopakhin listens. There they come, I think. They're coming. What's the matter with me? I'm cold all over. There they are, right enough. Let's go and meet him. Wish you know me. We haven't even seen each other for 5 years. Excited. I shall faint in a minute. Oh, I'm fainting. 2 carriages are heard driving up to the house. Lopakhin and Dunyasha go out quickly, and the stage is empty. A noise begins in the next room. Fiers, leaning on a stick even, walks quickly across the stage. He's just been to meet Lyubov Andreevna. He wears an old-fashioned livery and tall hat. He is saying something to himself, but not a word of it can be made out. The noise behind the stage gets louder and louder. A voice is heard. Let's go in there. Enter Lyubov Andreevna, Anya, her daughter, and Charlotta Ivanovna, who is the governess of Anya, with a little dog on a chain, and all dressed in travelling clothes. Varia, that's the adopted daughter of Lyubov, and we're never really sure why or what her background is, why she was adopted. Varia, she's quite a bit older, as we mentioned, older than Anya, in a long coat and with a kerchief on her head. Gaev, the brother of Lyubov, Simeonov Pishchin, or Pishchik, as he's otherwise called. Lopakhin, of course, has just gone out to meet them. Dunyasha's there with a parcel and an umbrella, and a servant with luggage all across the room. And Anya says, "Let's come through here. Do you remember what this room is, Mother?" Lyubov joyfully through her tears. "The nursery." Varia, "How cold it is. My hands are quite numb." To Lyubov Andreevna, "Your rooms, the white one and the violet one, are just as they used to be, Mother." So think about colour, because obviously colour is very relevant in this. It's a good idea to think of all the symbolism you possibly can, because obviously we're reading a translation here. It's not the original by any means. So anyway, so white generally means innocence. Violet, harder to say, perhaps royal, and they are aristocrats after all. Lyubov, "My dear nursery, oh, beautiful room. I used to sleep here when I was a baby." She weeps. "And here I am, like a little girl again." Kisses her brother. And then Varia, then her brother again. "And Varia is just like she used to be, just like a nun. And I knew Dunyasha." Kisses her. Obviously, she's changed a lot. Dunyasha's grown up, as Lyubov's been away for 5 years. Gaev, "The train was 2 hours late. There now. How's that for punctuality?" Charlotta to Pishchik, "My dog eats nuts too." Pishchik, astonished. "To think of that now." All go out except Anya and Dunyasha. Dunyasha says, "We did have to wait for you." She takes off Anya's cloak and hat. Anya says, "I didn't get any sleep for 4 nights on the journey. I'm awfully cold." Dunyasha, "You went away during Lent when it was snowing and frosty, but now, darling," laughs, kisses her, "we did have to wait for you, my joy, my pet. I must tell you at once. I can't bear to wait a minute." Anya, tired. "Something else now?" Dunyasha, "The clerk, Yepikodov, proposed to me after Easter." Anya, "Always the same." Puts her hair straight. "I've lost all my hairpins." She's very tired and even staggers as she walks. Dunyasha, "I don't know what to think about it. He loves me so much." Anya looks into her room in a gentle voice. "My room, my windows, as if I'd never gone away. I'm home. Tomorrow morning I'll get up and have a run in the garden. So if I could only get to sleep. I didn't sleep the whole journey. I was so bothered." Dunyasha, "Peter Sergeyevich came 2 days ago." It's Trofimov. Anya, joyfully, "Peter!" Obviously, she's pleased because it's her tutor. Dunyasha, "He sleeps in the bathhouse. He lives there. He said he was afraid he'd be in the way." She looks at her pocket watch. "I ought to wake him, but Barbara Milhailovna," that's Varia, "told me not to." "Don't wake him," she said. Enter Varia with a bunch of keys on her belt. So think about, again, the symbols. The keys linked to responsibility. Varia, "Dunyasha, some coffee, quick. Mother wants some." Dunyasha, "This minute." Exit. Says Varia, "You've come, glory be to God. Home again." So you get a lot of religious imagery around Varia as well, because she's been described as a nun by her mother, and now she constantly mentions God. And I think she has ideas about going into a nunnery, and which links to a line from Shakespeare. We'll come to that later. It's from Much Ado About Nothing. "Get thee to a nunnery." I think there's a play on that phrase later in the play. Anyway, caressing Anya. My darling is back again. My pretty one is back again. Anya, the 17-year-old daughter. I did have an awful time, I tell you. I can just imagine it. I went away in Holy Week. It was very cold then. Charlotta talked the whole way and would go on performing her tricks. Why did you tie Charlotta on to me? You couldn't go alone, darling, at 17. We went to Paris. It's cold there and snowing. I taught French perfectly, horribly. My mother lives on the 5th floor. I go to her and find her there with various Frenchmen, women, an old abbé with a book, and everything in tobacco smoke with no comfort at all. I suddenly became very sorry for Mother. So sorry that I took her head in my arms and I hugged her and I wouldn't let her go. Then Mother started hugging me and crying. Mario crying. Don't say any more. Don't say any more. Anya. She's already sold her villa near Mentone. She's nothing left, nothing. And I haven't a kopeck left either. Kopek's a very small change in Russia. I haven't a kopeck left either. We only just managed to get here. And Mother won't understand. We had dinner at the station. She asked for all the expensive things and tipped the waiters 1 ruble each. So that's money as well. And Charlotta too. Yasha wants his share too. It's too bad. Mother's got a footman now. Yasha, we've brought him here. I saw the wretch. How's business? Has the interest been paid? Not much chance of that. God, the place will be sold in August. Oh, God. Lopakhin looks in the door and moves and exits. Lopakhin, that's a really strange line. I'm not quite sure why it's in the play. I've thought about it a lot. Why is it in the play? I think it shows that Lopakhin is basically closer to the animals than he is the aristocracy, because he's acting like an animal and he seems to enjoy that. But he's actually trying to tease Varia, and he has got intentions to marry Varia, but he finds it very hard to express himself. So that's probably why he makes a sound like a cow. So Varia, through her tears, I'd like to, she shakes her fist. Anya embraces Varia softly. Varia, has he proposed to you? Varia shakes her head. But he loves you. Why don't you make up your minds? Why do you keep waiting? Varia, I think that it will all come to nothing. He's a busy man. I'm not his affair. He pays no attention to me. Bless the man. I don't want to see him, but everybody talks about our marriage. Everybody congratulates me, and there's nothing in it at all. It's all like a dream. In another tone. You've got a brooch like a bee, sadly, Anya says. Mother bought it. She goes into her room, talks lightly like a child. In Paris, I went up in a balloon. So the relevance of these two things, going up in a balloon, not the cheapest thing you could possibly do in those days, or even now, I think it'd be pretty expensive. So yeah, there she is. She's spending money like it's going out of fashion. And what was the other thing I was going to say about that? Yes, the bee. I think the bee is very significant as a symbol because the brooch like a bee, bees are hardworking and the aristocrats are clearly not in this, certainly not the older ones. Anya, we have some hope for. Varia, I guess whether she's aristocratic by birth, we don't know, but she's lived like an aristocrat, but she's not lazy. No one could call her that. She's very organized and she does her best to keep things in check. Anyway, so the balloon trip, must have cost a lot of money. We've already found out that the mother of Anya, Madame Ranevsky or Ranevskaya, whichever one you prefer, she's just constantly spending money, and footmen as well. She can't afford. She spends too much money in restaurants and they can't afford it. Anyway, continuing. So Varia says, my darlings, come back. My pretty ones, come back. Dunyasha has already returned with the coffee pot and he's making coffee. Varia stands by the door or near the door. I go about all day looking after the house and I think all the time, if only you could marry a rich man, then I'd be happy and would go away somewhere by myself, then to Kiev, to Moscow and so on. From one holy place to another, I'd tramp and tramp. That would be splendid. Anya, the birds are singing in the garden. What time is it now? Varia, it must be getting on for 3. Time you went to sleep, darling. She goes into Anya's room. Splendid. Enter Yasha with a plaid shawl and a travelling bag. Yasha crossing the stage politely. May I go this way? I'm trying to get his accent the way it was in that Judi Dench version. It's quite hard to get Yasha because he tries to speak in an English accent, but later on, as time goes on, you start finding out he's also Scottish, which sort of indicates it's just the way that play was put together, that version, that indicates he's got a lower class background. May I go this way? Don Yasha, I hardly knew you, Yasha. You've changed abroad. And who are you? Don Yasha, when you went away, I was only so high. Shown with her hand. I'm Dunyasha, the daughter of Theodore Kozyedov. You don't remember? Oh, you little cucumber. He looks around and embraces her. She screams and drops the saucer, and Yasha goes out quickly. So we get an impression of Yasha straight away. He hasn't said much, but he's a man of action, let's say. And you could get arrested for that sort of thing nowadays, but maybe not in Russia at the turn of the end of the 19th, going into the 20th century. Varia in the doorway in an angry voice. What's that? Dunyasha, through her tears. I've broken a saucer. It may bring luck. They rely on luck, even Varia, even though Varia is always praying to God, she also wants luck, which I don't really associate with God. I don't personally. Anya coming out of her room. We must tell Mother Peter's here. I told them not to wake him. That's Varia. Anya. Father died 6 years ago, and a month later my brother Grisha was drowned in the river. Such a dear little boy of 7. Mother couldn't bear it. She went away without looking round. She shudders. Oh, I understand her. If only she knew. Pause. And Peter Trofimov was Grisha's tutor. He might tell her. Interferes in a short jacket and white waistcoat. Or some people say waistcoat. What I was going to say there, Grisha obviously doesn't appear in the play, but his death in the river makes us more sympathetic, I think, towards Madame Renevsky, because we do begin to understand that she's become this spendthrift, possibly to get over the grief, and she lost her husband around about the same time too. So her life's been full of grief. So we can understand why she's been very unsettled since. So Fiers is the foot servant, the very old foot servant, very nostalgic. And he comes in and he's got an incredibly strong Scottish accent. So if you don't fully understand what I'm saying, that will be why. But here he comes. He goes to the coffee pot nervously. The mistress is going to have some food here. He puts on white gloves. Is the coffee ready? To Dunyasha severely. You, where's the cream? Dunyasha, oh dear me. She rapidly exits. Fiers fussing around the coffee pot. Oh, you bungler, he murmurs to himself. Back from Paris. The master went to Paris once in a carriage. What are you talking about, Fiers? I beg your pardon, joyfully. The mistress is home again. I've lived to see her. Don't care if I die now. He weeps with joy. Enter Lyubov Andreyevna, that's Madame Renevsky. Gaev, her brother. Lopakhin, the businessman who was once a serf, apparently. And Semyonov Pischin, otherwise known as Pischik. The latter in a long jacket, thin cloth, and loose trousers. Gaev, coming in, moves his arms and body about as if he's playing billiards. He's absolutely obsessed with billiards. So you might want to think, why? Is it because it's aristocratic pastime? Is that the reason? He just wastes all his time. He doesn't really do anything with time on his hands. He certainly doesn't want to improve himself. Certainly, and not at the beginning of the play, at least. Lyubov, let me remember now. Right into the corner, twice into the centre. So that's Lyubov saying that. And Gaev says, right into the pocket. Once upon a time, you and I both used to both sleep in this room, and now I'm 51. It does seem strange. Lopakhin, yes, time does go. Who does? I said that time does go. It smells of patchouli here. I think he says cabbage or something in the other version. Anya, I'm going to bed. Good night, Mother. She kisses her. Lyubov, my lovely little one, kisses her hand. Glad to be home. I can't get over it. Anya says, good night, Uncle. Gaev kisses her face and hands. God be with you. How you do resemble your mother. To his sister. You were just like her at her age, Lyuba. Anya gives her hand to Lopakhin and Pischik and goes out, shutting the door behind her. Lyubov says. She's awfully tired. Piszczek. It's a very long journey. Piszczek looks, in the version that I saw, he looks a bit like Santa Claus. Anyway, Varia to Lopakhin and Piszczek. It's getting on for 3. Quite time you went. Lyubov laughs. You're just the same as ever, Varia. She draws her close and kisses her. I'll have some coffee now. Then we'll all go. Fiers lays a cushion under her feet. Thank you, dear. I'm used to coffee. I drink it day and night. Thank you, dear old man. She kisses Fiers. Varia. I'll go and see if they've brought in all the luggage. She exits. Lyubov. Is it really I who am sitting here? She laughs. I want to jump about and wave my arms. She covers her face with her hands. But suppose I'm dreaming. God knows I love my own country. I love it deeply. I couldn't look out of the railway carriage. I cried so much. Through her tears. Still, I must have my coffee. Thank you, Fiers. Thank you, dear old man. I'm so glad you're still with us. The day before yesterday. He doesn't hear well, says Guy. Now Lopakhin. I've got to go off to Kharkov by the 5 o'clock train. I'm sorry. I should like to have a good look at you, gossip a little. You're as fine looking as ever. Piszczek breathes heavily. Even finer looking, dressed in Paris fashions, confound it all. Lopakhin. Your brother, Leonid Andreyevich, says I'm a snob, a usurer. But that's absolutely nothing to me. Let him talk. Only I do wish you would believe in me as you once did, that your wonderful touching eyes would look at me as they did before. Merciful God, my father was the serf of your grandfather and your own father, but ye more than anybody else did so much for me once upon a time. I've forgotten everything and I love you as if you belonged to my family and even more. Lyubov. I can't sit still. I'm not in a state to do it. She jumps up and walks about in great excitement. I'll never survive this happiness. You can laugh at me. I'm a silly woman. My dear little cupboard. She kisses the cupboard. My little table. Gaev. Nurse has died in your absence. Lyubov sits and drinks coffee. Yes, bless her soul. I heard by letter. Gaev continues. And Anastasius has died too. Peter Kosai has left me and now lives in town with the commissioner of police. He takes a box of sugar candy out of his pocket and he sucks a piece. In the version I read, the one as I mentioned earlier, but the screenplay was Trevor Griffiths. These were lemon drops, but you can see here it's not necessarily. But we could say, nevertheless, that he's trying to sugarcoat all this bad news, and that's typical of Gaev. So sugar candy in this particular version. Piszczek says, "My daughter Tashenka sends her love." Lopakhin. I want to say something very pleasant, very delightful to you. He looks at his watch. I'm going away at once. I haven't much time, but I'll tell you all about it. In 2 or 3 words, as you already know, the cherry orchard is to be sold to pay your debts, and the sale is fixed for August 22nd. But you needn't be alarmed, dear madam. You may sleep in peace. There's a way out. Here's my plan. Please attend carefully. Your estate is only 13 miles from the town. The railway runs by, and if the cherry orchard and the land by the river are broken up into building lots and are leased off for villas, then you'll get at least 25,000 rubles a year profit out of it. How utterly absurd, says Gaev. Lyubov. I don't understand you at all. Yumlai I can't say second name. Alexeyevich. Lopakhin. You'll get 25 rubles a year for each desiatin. I think, desiatin, what's that? I think it's probably a summer house. From the leaseholders at the very least. And if you advertise new, I'm willing to bet you won't have a vacant plot left by the autumn. They'll all go. In a word, you're saved. I congratulate you. Only, of course, you'll have to put things straight and clean up. For instance, you'll have to pull down all those old buildings, this house, which isn't used to any use to anybody new, and cut down the old cherry orchard. Cut it down? My dear man, you must excuse me, but you don't understand anything at all. If there's anything interesting or remarkable in this whole province, it's this cherry orchard of ours. The only remarkable thing about the orchard is it's very large. It only bears fruit every other year. And even then you don't know what to do with them. Nobody pays any. Gaev says, this orchard is mentioned in the encyclopedic dictionary. Lopakhin looks at his watch. If we can't think of anything and don't make up our minds to anything, then on August 22nd, both the cherry orchard and the whole estate will be up for auction. Make up your mind. I swear there's no other way out. I swear it again. Fears. In the old days, 40 or 50 years back, they dried the cherries, they soaked them and pickled them, made jam of them, and it used to happen that, be quiet, Fears. And then we'd send the dried cherries off in cars to Moscow and Kharkov and money. And the dried cherries were soft and juicy sweet, nicely scented. They knew the way. What was the way? They've forgotten. Nobody remembers. Piszczek to Lyubov. What about Paris, eh? Did you eat frogs? I ate crocodiles. Piszczek. To think of that now. In this version, he says that a lot, but in other versions, he's got a different catchphrase. Lopakhin. Up to now in the villages, there were only the gentry and the labourers, and now the people who live in villas have arrived. Old towns now, even small ones, are surrounded by villas, and it's safe to say in 20 years' time, the villa resident would be all over the place. At present, he sits on his balcony and he drinks tea. But it may well come to pass that he'll begin to cultivate his patch of land, and then your cherry orchard will be happy, rich, splendid. Gaev, angry. What rot? Enter Varya and Yasha. Varya says, there are 2 telegrams for you, little mother. Picks out a key and noisily unlocks an empty cupboard. Here they are. Lyubov. They're from Paris. She tears them up without reading them. I'm done with Paris. Gaev. And do you know, Lyuba, how old this case is? A week ago, I took out the bottom drawer and looked and saw figures burnt out in it. That case was made exactly 100 years ago. What do you think of that? What? We could celebrate its jubilee. It hasn't a soul of its own, but still, say what you will. It's a fine bookcase. Piszczek, astonished. 100 years. Think of that. Gaev. Yes, it's a real thing, handling it. My dear and honoured case, I congratulate you on your existence, which has already, for more than 100 years, been directed towards the bright ideals of good and justice. Your silent chord to productive labour has not grown less in the 100 years, he's weeping now, during which you have upheld virtue and faith in a better future to the generations of our race, educating us up to the ideals of goodness and to the knowledge of a common consciousness. So he's very wordy, Gaev, and it's quite meaningless, and he's very sentimental. Lopakhin, yes. You're just the same as ever, Leon. She's talking to her brother there. Gaev a little confused. Off the white, on the right, into the corner pocket. Red ball goes into the middle pocket. So he's fantasizing that he's playing a game of billiards, which is like snooker, but not quite as complicated. Lopakhin looks at his watch. His team, I went. He's constantly looking at his watch. That's something that's worth noting. Yasha giving Lyubov and Andreevna her medicine. Will you take your pills now? Piszczek. You oughtn't take medicines, dear madam. They do you neither harm nor good. Give them here, dear madam. He takes pills, turns them in the palm of his hand, blows on them, puts them in his mouth and drinks some kvass. There. So you see, he's taken all of her medicine. We don't even know what she's taking medication for. We don't know the exact reason. Perhaps nerves. Lyubov's frightened. You're off your head. I've taken all the pills, says Piszczek. Lopakhin. Gormandizer. Everyone laughs. I don't know what that means. It's like glutton. This version is quite unusual, actually, but it's very similar to the other versions, so that's good news. And this one's not copyright because you can actually access it on Gutenberg. Fears says, they were here in Easter week and it had half a pail full of cucumbers, he mumbles. What's he driving at? Varya. He's been mumbling away for 3 years. We're used to that. Yasha. Senile decay. Charlotta Ivanovna crosses the stage dressed in white. She's very thin, tightly laced. She has a lorgnette at her waist. Lopakhin. Excuse me, Charlotta Ivanovna. I haven't said how do you do to you yet. He tries to kiss her hand. She takes her hand away. If you let people kiss your hand, then they want your elbow, then your shoulder, and then Lopakhin. He looks out today that everyone laughs. Show us a trick, Charlotta Ivanovna. And Lyubov adds, Charlotta, do us a trick. Charlotta, it's not necessary. I want to go to bed. She can't be bought easily. It's one of the things I probably like about Charlotta. She won't just do tricks when people ask for it. She does them when she wants. Everything's on her own terms. Quite why she's in the plays is sometimes hard to gauge, but yeah, she does add a comic element. But I think she's a bit like one of Shakespeare's, not clowns, fools. That she's not really foolish. She speaks the truth, really. And this business about kiss your hand, elbow, shoulder, she just feels that the aristocrats sometimes take advantage of poorer people. That's me reading between the lines. Okay, Lopakhin's about to go. He's been about to go for quite a long time, but he's been conscious of time, looking at his watch whenever he can in the stage directions. Here he goes. Lopakhin. We shall see each other in 3 weeks. He kisses Lyubov's hand. Now, goodbye. It's time to go. To Guive. See you again. He kisses Piszczek. Au revoir. He gives his hand to Varia, then to Fiers, and to Yasha. I don't want to go away. To Lyubov. If you think about the villas and make up your mind, then just let me know. I'll raise a loan of 50,000 rubles at once. Now think about it seriously. Varia angrily. Do go now. Lopakhin. I'm going. So you can see they have a relatively intimate relationship, Varia and Lopakhin, although they struggle to talk to each other. Guyev, snob. Still, I think in the other versions they call him a kulak, which is not quite a snob. It's like somebody who was a serf and has moved up the hierarchy, but isn't. They can never be aristocrats. You've got to be born into that, really, to be an aristocrat and to have had all that free time so you could play billiards and read books. So Guyev says, snob. Still, I beg pardon, Varia's going to marry him. He's Varia's young man. Varia, don't talk so much, uncle. Lyubov says, why not, Varia? I should be very glad. He's a good man. Piszczek, to speak the honest truth, he's a worthy man. And my Dashenka also says that. She says lots of things. He snores, obviously falling asleep, wakes up again at once. But still, dear madam, if you could lend me 240 rubles to pay the interest on my mortgage tomorrow. Varia, frightened. We haven't got it. Lyubov, it's quite true. I've nothing at all. Piszczek, I'll find it, all right. I never lose hope. I used to think everything's lost now. I'm a dead man. Lo and behold, a railway was built over my land and they paid me for it. And something else will happen today or tomorrow. Dashenka may win 20,000 rubles. She's got a lottery ticket. Piszczek totally relies on luck, and it turns out it's not wrong to do that. But anyway, it's something to note about him. Lyubov, the coffee's all gone. We can go to bed. Fiers brushing Guyev's trousers in an insistent tone. You've put on the trousers again. What am I to do with you? Varia quietly. He really babies. Fiers really babies Guyev, actually. Varia quietly. Anya's asleep. She opens the window quietly. The sun's risen already. It isn't cold. Look, little mother. What lovely trees in the air. The starlings are singing. Guyev opens the other window. The whole garden's white. You haven't forgotten, Lyuba. There's that long avenue going straight like a stretched strap. It shined on moonlight nights. Do you remember? You haven't forgotten? Lyubov looks out into the garden. Oh, my childhood. Days of my innocence. In this nursery I used to sleep. I used to look out from here into the orchard. Happiness used to wait with me every morning. And then it was just as it is now. Nothing's changed. She laughs from joy. It's all white. Oh, my orchard. After the dark autumns and cold winters, you're young again, full of happiness. The angels of heaven haven't left you. If only I could take my heavy burden off my breast and shoulders. If I could forget my past. So we do feel some sympathy for her, the audience do anyway. And obviously Wyatt again links to innocence. Guyev. Yes, and they'll sell this orchard to pay off debts. How strange it seems, Lyubov. Look, there's my dead mother going in the orchard dressed in white. Laughs from joy. That's she. Where? Says Gaev. Varya. God bless you, little mother. Lyubov. There's nobody there. I thought I saw somebody. On the right, at the turning by the summer house. A white little tree bent down, looking just like a woman. So it's lots and lots of white. So it shows, again, like I said, in many ways, they're quite innocent and naive, the aristocrats, particularly Lyubov, or Madame Renevsky, if you want to call her that. Enter Trofimov. He is the tutor, of course, was the tutor of Grisha. Grisha, the son of Lyubov, who drowned in the river. So Trofimov comes in. He's wearing a worn student uniform and spectacles. Lyubov continues, what a marvellous garden. White masses of flowers. The blue sky. Trofimov. Lyubov Andreyevna. She looks round at him. I only want to show myself and I'll go away. He kisses her hand warmly. I was told to wait till morning, but I didn't have the patience. Lyubov Andreyevna looks surprised. Varya crying, it's Peter Trofimov. Trofimov. Peter Trofimov, once the tutor of your Grisha. Have I changed so much? Lyubov Andreyevna embraces him and cries softly. Gaev's confused. That's enough, Lyuba. Varya weeps. But I told you, Peter, to wait till tomorrow. Lyubov. My Grisha. My boy, Grisha, my son. Varya. What are we to do, little mother? It's the will of God. Trofimov softly through his tears. It's all right. Lyubov still weeping. My boy's dead. He was drowned. Why? Why, my friend? Softly. Anya's asleep in there. I am speaking so loudly, making such a noise. Peter, what's made you look so bad? Why have you grown so old? So it's quite childish, actually, Lyubov, given that she's a mother of a 17-year-old. So we can guess her age. She's got to be pushing 40 or above, mid-40s at least. Trofimov. In the train, an old woman called me a decayed gentleman. Lyubov. You were quite a boy then, a nice little student, and now your hair's not at all thick and you wear spectacles. Are you really still a student? She goes to the door. Trofimov. I suppose I shall always be a student. Lyubov kisses her brother, then Varya. Let's go to bed. And you've grown older, Leonid. So she's having a pop at her brother as well here. Gaev. Piszczek follows her. Yes, we've got to go to bed. Oh, my gout. Gout, I think it's quite relevant, actually, because gout is caused by, what do they call it? It's caused by living luxuriously or eating rich foods, red meat, maybe drinking lots of red wine, probably eating sugar. Those kind of things can give you gout. It's something that hasn't completely died out. People still get it even nowadays. So anyway, he continues. I'll stay the night here. If only, Lyubov Andreyevna, my dear, you could get me 240 rubles tomorrow morning. Always broke, Piszczek. Gaev says. Still the same story. 240 rubles to pay the interest on the mortgage. I haven't got any money, dear man. Piszczek. I'll give it back. It's a small sum. Lyubov. Then Leonid will give it to you. Let him have it, Leonid. She says to her brother Gaev. By all means, hold out your hand. Why not? He wants it. He'll give it back. Lyubov, Trofimov, Piszczek fears will go out. Gaev, Varya, and Yasha remain. Gaev says, my sister hasn't lost the habit of throwing money about. He says to Yasha, stand off. You smell of poultry. I think in the version I watched it says chickens, but same kind of thing, right? Yasha grins. You're just the same as ever, Leonid Andreyevich. Gaev, really? To Varya, what's he saying? Varya, but you notice there's a disconnection between Gaev, because he's an aristocrat, even though he's fallen on hard times, and these up and coming, what should we call them? Yeah, he's not really a kulak though. He hasn't really got money, but he's a hanger-on. But he sees himself as upwardly mobile. Varya to Yasha. Your mother's come from the village. She's been sitting in the servants' room since yesterday and wants to see you. Bless the woman, says Yasha. Shameless man. So Yasha's not a very sympathetic character. He doesn't even have any time for his mother. All he thinks about is himself. He's totally selfish. So Varia's quite right to call him shameless. Yasha says, a lot of use there is in her coming. She might have come tomorrow just as well. He exits. So Varia, mother hasn't altered a scrap. She's just as she always was. She'd give everything away if the idea entered her head. Gaev, yes. Pauses. If there's any illness for which people offer many remedies, you may be sure that particular illness is incurable, I think. I work my brains to their hardest. I've several remedies, very many, and that really means I've none at all. It would be nice to inherit a fortune from somebody. It would be nice to marry our Anya to a rich man. And it would be nice to go to Yaroslav and try my luck with my aunt, the Countess. My aunt is very rich, so he depends on luck as well, Gaev. Varia weeps. If only God helped us. Gaev, don't cry. My aunt is very rich, but she doesn't like us. My sister, in the first place, married an advocate, not a noble. So again, you got this idea that an advocate sounds like a lawyer. So, she's not married at the level that aristocrats should. Aristocrats are supposed to marry aristocrats, but we're talking sort of turn of the century, 19th to 20th century. Things were changing fast in Russia, but still, a bit like Britain was at the time, people married other people in their own class. Anya appears in the doorway, but Gaev continues talking. She not only married a man who was not a noble, but she behaved herself in a way which cannot be described as proper. She's nice and kind and charming, and I'm very fond of her, but say what you will in her favour, and you still have to admit that she is wicked. You can feel it in her slightest movements, Varia whispers. And it's in the doorway. So Gaev's just called his sister wicked, which isn't ideal. Gaev says, really? Pauses. It's curious, something's got into my eye. My right eye, I can't see properly out of it. And on Thursday, when I was at the district court, enter Anya. Why aren't you in bed, Anya? Anya says. I can't sleep. It's no good. Gaev, my darling, kisses Anya's face and hands. My child, crying. You're not my niece, you're my angel. You're my all. Believe in me, I do believe in you, uncle. Everybody loves you and respects you. But uncle dear, you ought to say nothing. No more than that. What were you saying just now about my mother, your own sister? Why did you say those things? Yes, says Gaev, covers his face with his hand. With her hand, sorry. Yes, really, it was awful. Save me, my God. And only just now I made a speech before a bookcase. It's so silly. And only when I'd finished I knew how silly it was. Varia. Yes, uncle, you really ought to say less. Keep quiet, that's all. Anya. You'd be so much happier in yourself if you only kept quiet. Gaev. All right, I'll be quiet. He kisses her hands. Oh, I'll be quiet. But let's talk business. On Thursday, I was in the district court, and a lot of us met there together. And we began to talk of this, that, and the other. And now I think I can arrange a loan to pay the interest into the bank. Varia. If only God would help us. I'll go on Tuesday, continues Gaev. I'll talk with them about it again. To Varia. Don't howl, she's crying. To Anya. Your mother will have a talk to Lopakhin, of course. He, of course, won't refuse, and when you've rested, you'll all go to Yaroslav, to the Countess, your grandmother. So, you see, we'll have 3 irons in the fire, and we'll be safe. We'll pay up the interest, I'm certain. He puts some sugar candy into his mouth. I swear on my honour, on anything you will, that the estate will not be sold. Excitedly. I swear on my happiness. Here's my hand. You may call me a dishonourable wretch if I let it go to auction. I swear by all I am. Anya is calm again and happy. How good and clever you are, uncle. She embraces him. I'm happy now. I'm happy. All's well. Interferes, fears reproachfully. Leonid Andreyevich, don't you fear God? When are you going to bed? Gaev says, soon. You go away, Fears. I'll undress myself. Children, bye-bye. I'll give you the details tomorrow, but let's go to bed now. He kisses Anya and Varya. I'm a man of the 80s. People don't praise Zuji as much, but I can still say I've suffered for my beliefs. The peasants don't love me for nothing. I assure you, we've got to learn to know the peasants. We ought to learn how. You're doing it again, uncle. Be quiet, uncle, says Varya. Fears angrily. Leonid Andreevich, I'm coming now. Go to bed now. Off two cushions, into the middle. He's talking billiards again. I turn over a new leaf. He exits. Fears goes out after him. Anya. I'm quieter now. I don't want to go to Yaroslav. I don't like grandmother, but I'm calm now, thanks to uncle. She sits down. Varya says, it's time to go to sleep. I'll go. There's been an unpleasantness here while you were away. In the old servants' part of the house, only the old people live. Little old Efim and Polya and Evstigny and Karp as well. They started letting some tramps or other spend the night there. I said nothing. Then I heard they were saying that I had ordered them to be fed on peas and nothing else. From meanness. And it was all Evstigny's doing. Very well, I thought. That's what the matter is. Just you wait. So I call Evstigny, and she yawns. He comes. What's this? I say. Evstigny, you old fool. She looks at Anya. Anya, dear, pauses. She's dropped off. She takes Anya's arm. Let's go to bye-bye. Come along. She leads her. My darling's gone to sleep. Come on. They go. In the distance, the other side of the orchard, the shepherd plays his pipe. Trofimov crosses the stage and stops on seeing Varya and Anya. Varya says, shh, she's asleep. Come on, dear. Anya quietly half asleep. I'm so tired. All the bells. Uncle, dear. Mother and uncle. Varya, come on, dear, come on. They go into Anya's room. Trofimov is moved and says the final word of Act 2 before the curtain falls. My son, my spring. So that is Act 1.